key here. Okay, so we're gonna dive into how I turn that 25,000 into 728,000. Forget that number, forget everything. This is exactly what you guys wanted to know about how I enter and why I enter and when I enter. So again, we talked about spreads. We learned all about that, how I do my strategy. So now I got so many questions on the exact same thing on when I'm entering and how I'm entering. So for example, we'll go into some trades that we did over the past few days because this is the perfect example. So let me bring up my okay, let me just make sure the Discord's working. No, it's not. Why doesn't that work? So weird. Okay. So I'll bring it up in this fashion then. Okay, so I know this works. Okay, that's perfect. All right, so we entered GLW put spread on Friday. We entered HIMS put spread today, and we entered a CLSK put spread today. Okay, you can see I have, this is my spreadsheet. Everyone's going to be receiving this, by the way, at the end of this call. That's something I talked about in a prior post. I'm going to post this link so everyone's able to receive this. You'll be able to copy it and make it your own. It's very easy to use. You just put in the ticker. You put in, is it a call spread, put spread, iron condor? Okay. Open trade, won, lost. Again, everything is very simple, very easy to do. And then it just calculates everything for you. And then it does all your results right here. So I have 3 trades that are currently open. Hopefully I'll be 10-1. In this specific trade right here that we lost, this is a great example. I'm going to go over this one specifically as well because we lost in this trade. It actually ended up being a winner, but I just had a horrible entry. I entered on the run up, which is not something you want to do as a spreads trader. You want to look for at least pullbacks, and I have a great example of that today too. Again, on the same ticker, which is funny enough. So now that I showed you that, now that you can see kind of my entries and exit, my entries here, let's kind of dive into why I entered them and how I entered them. Okay, so let's go into that HIMS example today because that is a perfect example of the perfect entry, truly. So let me change this really quick. Sorry, I know this is kind of annoying. I don't know why it's not letting me do this overall. Let me just make sure it's working. Okay, there we go. All right, so let's go into HIMS today. Now, I think we all know HIMS absolutely went berserk today. Let me remove these. Let me put up my algo just because you're going to see exactly where I entered was right here. I got calls right here. I rolled my calls from Friday, and I bought a 11/22 expiration, $30 calls. Those are up 40% right now, up from our 700% gain on the HIMS 2450 calls from Friday into today. So we grab calls right at this area, and we also grab the put spread. So how am I entering these put spreads? Okay, I see HIMS is breaking out of a cup and handle that it's been in since inception, since it got listed. Okay, look at this beautiful cup. Got this little handle right here. Sorry, I got the algo up there, but I'm doing it for specific purposes. So you got that perfect handle, and you can see we finally broke out new all-time highs today. Okay, so I'm expecting continuation. I'm expecting a higher move. I mean, the market is very bullish right now. Of course, it needs its dips. HIMS has been. I personally think this stock should have been up this amount off the earnings release. The earnings release was an absolute blowout. Their guidance was absolutely fantastic, and they kind of gave us a gift by holding it down and even dropping it 5% after earnings. Now, obviously, it's up 35-40% since then, in just over a week. But this was a perfect entry today. So it went all the way up to 28, came all the way back down to 2650. Okay. And we had support at 2659, 2660, the 9 EMA, which is the white line, and the blue line, which is the VWAP. Perfectly lined up. This wasn't lagging. Okay. I know EMAs and VWAPs, EMAs lag, this was not lagging. This exactly hit this at this time, and we grabbed it on this entry. So it fell $1.50. I was like, okay, that seems like a pretty good spot. I want to see if it gets into these, areas right here. It exactly did, which was the most perfect scenario. And I opened up the put spread right there. So that put spread right now is up 70%. I sold a 24.5 put. No, hold on. Give me a second. I did not sell a 24.5. I sold, give me a second. Let me just double check. I think I sold a 24.5. No, I sold the 24 put. I knew it was something 24. I sold the 24 put and bought a 22.5 put. So $1.50 spread, selling the 24, buying the 22.5, meaning I need $150 per contract. Okay. I bought 7 contracts to start it. And with that, I was able to get an entry of like 17 or 18 cents. And what did I get? I got 20 cents actually, even better. Okay. I got 20 cents. So $20 per contract. And I needed in premium, and I needed 150 to open a contract. So I'm looking to make $140 on just about 1,050 in collateral. So again, great trade there. Um, I believe Hims is going to hold above 25. I believe it's going to hold above 26 for the rest of the week. And I think this is going to be a beautiful trade. And we're already up a lot. I'm looking to close this out tomorrow and take profits. So this is a great example of when I'm looking to enter. So on put spreads, you're looking to enter on a dip with confirmation of it holding and or a support level. So if you see it bounce, I think that's a good area to add. That's what I usually focus on. Same thing on the call side. Let's say if I thought Hims wasn't going to continue the rest of the week, okay? I would want to buy, or I want to open a spread, somewhere over here. I mean, obviously at the time you never know if it's going to be that exact point, but you want to look for confirmation to show, okay, is this looking weaker? Okay. RSI was kind of overbought. You could see we started to break down and just not get a little bit higher. Um, this wasn't the best example. I'll find a better one to kind of show the call side factor. But this is a perfect example of the put side factor. But again, call side, if it's going up, I want to look for rejection, and I want to look for a turnaround, a reversal to the downside, and confirmation of that. Then I'd look for a call side, and I'm obviously looking bearish. I don't want it to go above a certain price, and then we will make profit on that. So let's go into our next one. We have CLSK. Here is another name that I grabbed. So CLSK was an interesting one because, one, it's related to Bitcoin. Bitcoin's up a lot. Two, this actually just got unhalted after like 4 or 5 trading days. It was halted by NASDAQ. It was requesting additional information based on their warrants increasing in price. So where and when I got this one was, again, confirmation, looking for a dip. So you can see we got a big spike, okay? You can see we started to chop around. Once we started to break up here, okay, I started to see us bounce from this level at 16. So 16 looked like a support. We started to push up here and get back into this level. Once we got right about here, almost right into this point, right around midday, around 12 o'clock, 12:30, is when I actually got my put spread on that. And that we got a good entry as well. We were looking at 18 cents in premium, so $18 in premium per contract. Again, another $1.50 spread. And that one looks really well as well. Let me see how much it's up. Give me a second. CLSK is up 75.74%. So I'm looking to close that tomorrow. And I sold a 13.5 put and bought a $12 put. So the IV on this was a little high. Again, big move. Also just came back from an unhaul, a lot of volume, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of things going on there. 13.5. I mean, Bitcoin's going crazy. This is one that's lagging because it was halted for a few days. It probably should be higher. Do I think this is going to drop $4? No, I don't think so. Am I taking profit tomorrow anyway? Again, we're up 76% already. Yes, 100%. So again, clear example. We saw that back test. We held 16. We started to break out. And yes, we got a little rejection here, but it was good enough for me to say, Do I think this is going to fall $3+ in the next 4 days? I do not. And again, always have that 200% stop loss in play, which is something I talked about in our last video, and I'll post that above again when I do the recording emails tonight. So this is one that I did. And then lastly, let's get to GLW. So we'll go through these, and I'm gonna go through that HIMS one that we lost on. Just so you guys could see those entries. That's what I know a lot of people were asking about. Okay, so GLW. We got into call swings on this Friday. We got into put spreads on this Friday. So we were actually bullish on GLW in both scenarios, where we wanted to go long calls and we wanted to go long put spreads, just like we did with HIMS, and HIMS turned out absolutely fantastic today. So GLW, we got it around 48.50, 48.60, kind of halfway up that move, really. But the difference in this one is I know we got like $2 out at least, and GLW does not move that much. Yeah. So we sold 47s, and that was a $1 spread. So 47 would put us down even under this candle right here. So do I think GLW after earnings is going to fall that much when the earnings were good? I don't. This is coming back into earnings. So it gapped up on earnings, had really good earnings, came back, filled the gap, and reversed. So now I'm thinking we're going to continue to the upside, break over this recent high at 51 and push higher. So our GLW calls actually did good this morning. We trimmed some out. I think we actually even closed the position. And then with our put spreads, we did not close the position, but it was up, and it currently still is up 30% here. So with this one, I'm looking to close in the next day or two. Hopefully we get over 49.50, and looking to close 75 to 100% profit on these. But again, this is one, every single trade that I do in spreads, I talk about that 200% rule, and I also talk about listen, we're trying to buy at specific areas to mitigate our risk and to get the best possible entries. With my specific spread strategy, it is very high probability, just like spreads in general should be. But I go a little farther out. I go a little safer and more conservative. And my win rate is just around over 90%, just about 91, 92. And again, if I had a better entry on this, I mean, we would be clean and clear since I started tracking that spread challenge that we're in. But again, just off this alone, we are looking. So we're already 7-1, and if we win all three of these, we'll be 10-1. We're over that 90%. So in general, I am very conservative with it. I'm going out. Sorry, I'm going to look for spreads under a 20 delta, even a little bit lower sometimes. And I usually like to get, a couple of percent move away from the current stock price. So let's go into HIMS on where I screwed this up. And where was it? So we were on 11.8. Okay, it wasn't actually 11.8. So where was that dip? Give me 1 second. We don't need this anymore. If you guys have any questions, by the way, please put them in the chat. I will answer them. Just give me a few minutes. Okay. Yep. That is where we entered. I could already tell. Okay. I don't remember the exact point on where we entered. I could look in the Discord right now, but for some reason I can't pull it up on StreamYard. It's just not working. So we definitely bought it. We opened the put spread somewhere right around here. I thought we were going to get a big breakout. I thought we were going to get the new all-time highs. And this is exactly what you do not want to do. So we bought it basically near highs, and it started to drain and go lower. Okay, over the next few days, it just chopped around. And again, this ended up being a full profit trade, but I follow my rules, 200% stop loss, got stopped, and that's it. Listen, you got to follow it. Otherwise, when you break them, bad things are going to happen. And I've done that prior when I first started trading spreads over 4 years ago, and I made a good amount of money that I literally blew away in just a couple of trades. So that is not what you want to do. So that 200% stop loss is a tight area for me. So again, horrible entry right around here, right near the highs. Now what I should have done, because I was again still bullish on HIMS, is waited for something like this. Look how it came back in here. Okay. This was prior resistance. You could see it broke out of that. Okay. Then it came back and supported it twice. You could see twice it supported right here. This is where I should have bought, somewhere in this specific area. So now my $22 put spread that I bought originally could have been like a 20 put spread or a 20.50 put spread. And that would have worked out perfectly because as you see over the next few days, we went under it just for a second here, but that was it. That was the low. And look at from what happened Friday. What happened Wednesday when we entered up here to what happened Thursday. We could have even sold it there for probably 75-80% profit. It would have been up. Here it would have came back down if you still had it, but you would have made profit still. It never went under that 20.5. You would have never have gotten that 200% stop loss at this point for sure. It would have been probably 70% max, 50% max, because you're still way above that put spread spot. Sorry, that sold put. And then if you had, let's just say next week's, you would have been killing it at this point. But that's what I'm talking about. Buying these or opening these contracts on specific areas, whether on dips if you're feeling bullish, or rejections if you're feeling bearish with confirmation. You need confirmation for both of these scenarios. This is where you're going to get the best entries. This is where you're going to get the best success rate. And again, this is a strategy that is meant for compounding. So please do this appropriately. And hopefully this was helpful. Now I'm going to go through some questions because I wanted to dive right into those entries and make sure everyone understood where I'm getting them. Before I even start that, actually, let me get into some QQQ entries really quick, because again, same type of scenario, except this is more same day. So let's go into something today. Today, I did not do a spread. I was up a large amount at the open. I just had no feeling to do one. Now, if I was going to do a spread, let's say on Thursday, okay? Again, I know it's kind of cliche because it's sorry, on Friday. I know it's kind of cliche. I think I did actually do a spread. Hold on, give me a second. Give me 1 second. I did. Okay, I did do a spread on Friday. So it was November 8th, sold 509 puts and bought 507 puts. So, and I did it at 10:36. So I followed my 1 hour rule. So 10:36. Let's see where we're at here. Okay. So right around here is where I entered my spread. Okay. 10:36 Eastern. So you could see we kind of came up and then we just kind of chopped. And it looked like we were holding very well. So 10:36, got it on the dip. And again, I got 509 puts. So we were, $4+ out of the money there. And again, market was very strong. Individuals were doing well. And again, this turned out to be a beautiful trade. It was almost basically the low after that entry. We got this one candle here that tried it a little bit, and then from there it just went straight up. Clean trade, perfect entry, and it worked out. Again, buying those dips, finding that right opportunity, and executing is going to be key in conducting spreads in any trade in the market. Overall, again, that was just clean. You gotta wait for these dips with confirmation. You gotta wait for these rejections for confirmation when you are entering these trades. It will help you immensely. Please, if you do get into spreads, and I highly suggest people do look into it, that is something I highly suggest you do. And I know, again, just answering that question because so many people asked about it. So if you guys have any more questions, put them up here. I will try to go through them really quickly. Let's see. And just to let you guys know, listen, when I got into trading, nothing was ever 100%. Okay. So luckily enough, when I first started trading, I, well, first off, I did lose $2,000. I was 17, junior going into senior year of high school. I was trading under a custodian account under my father's actual main account. So it was my own money in my own little account, but that's how I had to, personally do it under the age of 18. Um, with that said, money I got from work, I put in there and I started day trading. Lost $2,000 and I put some extra money in there. And from there, 2,000 to 52,000. Now, that was all luck. That was done in 3 months. Let me tell you, I all in. I was 17, 18, stupid. Um, and again, that's where it comes back to bite me in the ass, in a second. Um, that was all luck. I had no strategy. I was following people on Twitter. Had no clue what the fuck was going on. Excuse my language, but no clue what the fuck was going on. Um, and it worked. I fell on top of the world, 2,000 to 52,000 in 3 months. Wow, this is easy. I'm going to be able to make millions, millions, millions. Um, few weeks later, that 52,000 was 10,000. Um, the heart starts pumping and you're like, what the fuck did I just do? Blowing all that money that an 18-year-old just made is absolutely ridiculous. And I went through this cycle a little bit for about 2 years before I started to truly understand, develop my strategy, plan it out, be more patient, and execute. Um, I did this a couple more times. 10,000 to 100,000, that 100,000 to 25,000, that 25,000 to 300,000, that 300,000 to like 50,000, I think it was. I kept going up. I had a little support and resistance area on my own portfolio chart, which is funny enough. But yeah, that was some crazy shit. I remember wanting to quit many times. If I did that, I wouldn't be where I am today. So thankfully, I stuck through. Um, because let me tell you, this is a hard fucking game. I know you hear a lot of people say that. A lot of people do not make it in this game. But seriously, it is hard as fuck. I'm saying that word a lot, but it really is. So I want people to succeed. Stop playing these little lotto calls, lotto puts. Actually put your money in a good position. Now, find a strategy that truly works for you, that works around your work, or that works around what you're comfortable with. Are you comfortable with day trades? Do you have time to do them? Are you comfortable with swings? You know, do you have a strategy to just get into any of these trades in general? Or are you just following the mill and just trying to make it on someone else's knowledge? And yes, that could work. It really could. But I really want people to learn because that is where you're going to grow as a person, grow as a trader, and hopefully grow financially. Um, you know, that statistic that 80 to 90% of people don't make it is so sad because so many just throw money in there. And I've even worse, have seen people literally lose millions of dollars. Like I literally have someone that I've still talked to this day that is doing better now, thankfully. Um, but they literally lost, I think it was like 1.55 million, so 1,550,000. If I'm correct in the number, I know it was just north of 1.5. Um, and that's their life savings. That is crazy. Just going into 0 days or out of the money stuff, way out of the money stuff. When I'm doing day trades, it's going to be right at the money. And honestly, when I'm doing day trades now, I'm really actually trying to even get more time. It's safer. Yes, the price is higher, but it's safer. You're not going to get that data burn. Um, if you think of it this way, let's say you buy a 10-cent contract, okay? Listen, it goes up 10 cents, you make 100%, okay? You make $10 per contract. Now, let's say same exact trade, okay, that 100%, okay? You buy a $2 contract, so different date, um, different strike because it's going to be closer in this regard. Um, and that $2 contract goes up to 250. So you make 25%, but you made $50 per contract. And the theta burn on that would have been maybe 5 cents. So if there was drawdown on the theta burn, if it was just staying still, would have been, let's say, 5, 6 cents. Okay. And that's something, that's perfectly fine. Whereas the drawdown, if that same contract on that 10-cent contract would have been probably 4 or 5 cents, which is 40 to 50% of that position, down in the red. Those numbers get to people. I mean, again, you're really gambling there. You might as well go to a casino and hope, you know, listen, I'm going to put it on red. Even at that point, you have a better you have a better chance probably at a casino, where that almost 50% red and black. Um, but I want people to learn. I want people to grow. I want them to grow financially. And I want to see success stories. I want to, I want to help people. So with that said, please, if you have any questions, don't feel afraid to ask. We're always here to help everyone on Spaces. We, I mean, we have so many great stories. We met so many great people. I've met so many people from FinTwit. Even that, again, it doesn't matter where you are, socially. I've met people that have 100 followers. Who gives a fuck about that? There's absolutely amazing people out there. Okay. There's amazing people with great minds that can make this work. And you just need to find what works for you, whether that's stocks, whether that's options, whether that's option selling like spreads or selling puts, something like that. There is always a strategy out there for a person to successfully navigate and use. So you just got to find what works for you and, put it together and be patient and execute on that strategy. Um, Other than that, I do think people should look into spreads. I've had people who, I know I'm just rambling, sorry, but people who should look into spreads. I've had people who were doing long calls, long puts, wasn't working out for them. I have people who literally only do spreads now, and it's changed their life. So, um, that's a great feeling to be able to help people, and I hope I'm able to do that for others. Hopefully in this call and going forward, and hopefully able to meet some of you guys and ladies, in the future. But other than that, let me check some questions. Uh, yes, I see we have a question on SQ. I'll go over that right now. And if there's not any others, we'll end it right here. Um, no, I appreciate that, Metal Rooster. Seriously. Um, Again, I just want to see it all work out. Really. SQ, by the way, this is looking great. I know Bitcoin is, helping its run, but SQ is one where I think kind of wait, hold on. Let me do one more thing. Okay, that's what I was thinking. SQ is kind of reminding me of PayPal, and I know they decently do the same thing. I know they don't do the exact same thing, but they decently do the same thing, and kind of in that same sector. And I think they have the possibility to kind of curl up, okay? Kind of like a rounding bottom or a cup and handle. This is actually a name that I personally like. And I'll be looking into this as well. That's actually a pretty good, trade. So those January 25th 100 calls, I think will be perfectly fine. Now, of course, anything could happen, but I think it seems pretty good to me. Um, Even if it doesn't get up to 100, if you get up to 90, if you get up to 95, listen, you're going to still make profit on that on a June contract. Your buying time, that's great. Um, I see someone talked about Tesla just a second ago. Tesla has been absolutely insane. I posted this chart many times. Got a lot of hate. It kind of rounded. It was just chopping around, and it was holding supports and just getting higher lows every time. Low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. Bam. Of course, obviously, the election and what Elon was doing with Trump helped out a lot. In general, the earnings was actually pretty good too. It wasn't amazing, but it was good. So this was great. I'm a long-term Tesla investor myself, and I think this is truly going to be back to 1,000, whether that's through another split technically, or whatever. I think this is going to really boom in the next few years. Um, so Tesla, love it. I truly do. Now, with that said, Tesla needs a dip. I'm not buying it up here. There's just no shot. Um, if you're in it in shares, hold it. If you're in it in calls, take some profits. If you want to roll them farther out. I would look into mid next year would be safer. Um, if you want to do that. But Tesla will get its dip at least to 320, 325, kind of fill this gap at least. I just can't see it not happening. Um, it needs to cool down. It needs to, reset itself just like the rest of the market. I mean, look at Qs, okay? Um, we just had gap ups on gap ups. And I talked about this morning. You know, these gap ups, they're great, okay? But you have to be realistic. You have to realize, and after trading this market for 10 years now, you have to realize, or 9 years now, going into 10 almost, you got to realize that sorry, let me take this off. You got to realize that there is going to be, listen, you're going to get extended moves, but at one point that extension is going to, reverse. And today I talked about that, and we did actually start to do it, but we pumped right through and got almost back to that high. We did put in a hanging man there, so that is something to watch over the next day or two. Um, but yeah, that is something I would definitely keep on watch and just be cautious of. Market can never go up forever. Market can never go down forever. There's always going to be things that you know, fluctuate. So be smart, be appropriate with that. PLTR, yes. Long term, love it. Beautiful. One of my favorites. And that one needs to come down. I'm a long term PLTR bull from $14, but you can't tell me this isn't extended. And you see all these posts on Twitter. You see all these things that it is one of it actually is the most expensive stock in the S&P 500 right now, compared to sales to all the sales numbers and everything. Um, and listen, I agree. It truly is. It's having a historic run. I'm I'm very happy. I mean, I have shares. Um, I have calls. I am very happy here with Palantir. But again, being realistic, this has to come down at one point. And when it does, trust me, I'll be buying more and moving that average up from that $14. I would absolutely love a dip into 30. I don't know if that happens, but I think 33 to about 40 is very doable. And I'm not saying it happens now. I'm not saying it happens within a week time frame or anything. It's going to be drawn out over like a month, 2 months, 3 months. Um, it's going to get people. Um, that's where I'm going to be adding. And I'm starting to do call credit spreads on, sorry, I'm starting to do covered calls on it on my shares to even get more money, especially on a candle like this. I actually opened a put today on it 3 weeks out. Very small size. I just started it. Um, I think we're gonna get a dip, into 55, even a little bit lower. I would say 55 is probably reasonable. Um, and if they want to bring it back up from there, they probably will. But I think this is due for a dip, and you could see we're kind of extended. RSI is really high. Um, we have a doji here, a gap up doji. Technically, could be a bearish abandoned baby. If anyone knows that candle setup, I know it sounds crazy. Um, look it up. But this is one that I am looking for a little short to make money on the downside as well. Just because I have shares, just because I have calls, and I've been trimming all of them, the calls at least. Um, doesn't mean I don't think this can come down. So got to be realistic, and I hope everyone kind of gets that because people think things go up. I see some crazy messages. I post a thing about downside and I get bashed. Like, listen, it is what it is. You just got to be realistic with yourself and really know what's going on. Yes, the spreadsheet. Hold on one second. Let me bring it up. Okay. This spreadsheet right here, the spreads one, that's going to be going up right now. Oh, sorry. Right after this, I will get that over to you guys. I guess last second here, I'll kind of dive into one last thing. Um, So spreadsheet here, I'll be sending that out to everyone. Don't worry about that. And for the giveaway, for those people that were listening, I think we only had like 6 people who commented, which was pretty shocking. 3 people are going to be getting a month to the Discord. Um, I'll do that in a random generator right after this as well. And I'll send that over to you guys. But other than that, if you guys are interested, use code HYMS for 29% off today. It was HYMS up 23% at the time and PLTR up 6% at the time. So 29% off today using code HYMS, all capital, at Bull Trade Finder. If you guys are interested and want to trade along with us every day, live trading, screen sharing, going over trades. If you guys are interested in that. And the only last thing I want to go over before we end this is I do want to go over the automated trading. If you guys are interested in that, and that's how you kind of want to start spreads, we could do that. So let me go into this. Okay, so here's my automated trader. I don't know why it doesn't show my recent trades. That's interesting. Okay, here's my automated trader. So I've worked with Peakbot. The link is btf.usepeakbot.com. So if you guys were interested in automated trading, it does automated trades for you. I'll do a simple run through right now. So we have a weekly watch list, and we're also going to be uploading. We have a new strategy actually coming this week, which is what I'm really excited about. It's going to be it should be coming literally in a day or two. It's going to be our wheel strategy. So with this, it's going to be selling puts. So when you're selling puts, which I've talked about in that last spread trading video, um, let's say, for example, PLTR, okay? You want to buy it at $50, okay? So you would sell a $50 put. So you would collect the premium on that every week until at one point it goes under that 50 by that Friday and executes you. Then let's say if you have one contract, you would own $100 share, $100, 100 shares at $50. If you have 2 contracts, you would own $200, 200 shares at $50. So that's the new strategy we're going to be going out. But so the weekly watch list, very simple, goes over our whole entire thing here. I don't want that. I want the light mode. I'm still loading it. Usually a little bit quicker. There we go. Okay, so in simple terms, how to use this. And by the way, if anyone does own or wants to use the BTF Peakbot, it's btf.usepeakbot.com to sign up. Use code BTF50, all capital BTF50. Now, let me go into this now. So if anyone does have BTF Peakbot, I post my personal trades that I automate every week in an email to all the subscribers. I give my reasoning and, I go over all that. But if you want to do your own trades, you just could come to the watch list here, or if you just have trade stickers that you just know right off the bat that you want to be doing spreads on or doing the wheel on, you just plug it in. I'll show you how to do that in a second. But watch list is very simple and easy to use. It shows you all the tickers. It automatically puts it in the probability of profit, so the chance of that name being profitable. And ours ranges from 80 to about 89%. That's about all our trades. That's what the bot is scheduled to do. So 80 to 89%. Otherwise, it won't put anything else on the watch list. So it also gives you earnings, so you know not to play specific companies unless you want to, which I highly do not suggest. The red line here going across, you'll see, a couple of them. Those are all earnings plays going into this week for this coming Friday expiration. So let's say if we wanted to look at a 87.9% probability of profit, the return on the investment for Oracle would be 4.4%. And the buffer, which is the current price compared to where it's going to sell the strike, is about 3.5%. And then it tells you how much you'll need per contract and how much you'd make per contract. Okay. So again, very simple, self-explanatory there. It even explains it right here. And then what you got, if you what you wanted was there, let's say you go to, what did I do? So I did GLW and I did Starbucks as well. And I posted those to the email list and I did two each. Okay. All I would do is activate. I would agree to the terms, blah, blah, blah. And we are all set. Now it shows my spreads and it executes on Fridays, Mondays, and Tuesdays, right around 12 to 1 p.m. Just about. Okay. Um, Simple as that. If you do not want these anymore and you want to do something for next week, I just remove them. You're all set. Save. Bam. You're all good. And it's literally as simple as that. And it's going to be the same thing. So right now it's called the Smart Spread. That's our spread bot. Um, Within a day or two, you're going to see the wheel bot pop up in here too, another bot to activate. So you just choose which one you want. And you could run both strategies at the same time if you want to do it on different tickers or even the same tickers. Okay. But other than that, that's all I got. If anyone has any questions for anything, please ask. Well, give me a second. There, right there. At the bottom, you can see that link. So btf.usepeakbot.com. I'll put that in a tweet as well. Use code BTF50, okay? So btf.usepeakbot.com. Um, and code is BTF50, all capital BTF. Yes, I'm going to be posting this recording. Um, and if anyone doesn't have our newsletter, I'll post that up too. You'll get updates on things I'm doing with, for example, I just did a big write up on hymns just over a week ago. And I mean, look where it is today. It's up $8 from that write up. So that's over what, 35%. So overall, if anyone has any questions, please ask. Don't be afraid to get in my DMs. Don't be afraid to type in my comments. Other than that, I hope everyone has a great night, and I will see all of you later.